on the last show, we talked about love. We talked about whether it would be a summer of love for home buyers and sellers, and for many it was. But the last episode we did, two of our managers, Jim Barcelona and Trisha Roberto, came on, and they said that the market had reached an inflection point, that finally we were starting to see supply tick up after a long decline, and that the number of transactions, the number of closed transactions was finally on its way down, perhaps indicating that demand had peaked. So Mike, I want to start with you and get your impressions. Is that what's happening in the market? Is that an accurate depiction?
I mean, depending on how you look at it, sure, you could describe the market that way. If you look at what's happened over the last year and a half, definitely we're starting to see a little more supply, and we're starting to see the number of units tick down, the closed units tick down. But it's all really relatively speaking. So when you take a look at what happened over the last year, and the end of 2020, we had a fall market that was much more like a spring market. So we basically had a spring market, and then we had another spring market. So basically the markets are just evolving to a little bit more normalcy, a little bit more cyclical normalcy that we normally see in a year, but we're still far outpacing where we've been the last few years. If you look at 2018, 2019, our 2021 numbers and continued trends are far above where we were before. So like I said, if you look at it in a very short period of time, I'd say that's a correct way to look at it. But in reality, we're still in a much hotter market than we've been in the fall and years.
Dad, would you agree with that assessment?
I agree with it, when you look at it mathematically, but I also want to remind everybody we were number 20 on the top 20 Case-Shiller index for price increases. So we are by far the most affordable city, and we didn't have as much of a rise as even cities like Minneapolis. So although people are feeling like our market could be overheated, as a percentage of income, we're an incredibly affordable spot to live in America.